All right, good evening, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster coming back here once again. I'm here to give you guys your evening forecast update for today here. So you guys have heard my voice about a million times today, going over Invest 99L and going over its potential impacts here in Arkansas here. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys your forecast here in just a little bit and go over radar real quickly here. So first and foremost, guys, it has been another hot and humid day across the natural state here. The heat advisory goes until 8 o'clock this evening here, and we're not expecting the heat advisory to be reissued for tomorrow here because the heat ridge that's over our heads right now looks to push off towards the east, which will lower the heat indexes lower to heat advisory criteria here. So we're talking upper 90s, even some low 100 heat indexes, but it shouldn't be as bad as it has been over the last couple of days here. So let's go ahead and talk about radar real quickly here. We got a couple of scattered showers down here in southwest Arkansas at this point. Got a few up here in northwestern Arkansas. Just hit and miss pop-up thunderstorms here as just a result of the ridge starting to break down and push off towards the east here. So let's go ahead and talk about temperatures real quickly, guys. And temperatures at this point are still pretty warm, given that it's about 7 o'clock this evening here. So right now, we've got temperatures here that are starting to come up at this point here, so give it just a second. We've got 91 in Little Rock right now, 90 degrees in Camden, a rain cooled down there in El Dorado at 79 degrees, 93 in Fort Smith, 91 in Fayetteville at this point, 88 in Jonesboro, 91 in Mountain Home, 95 in Ashdown, and 91 at this time in Mena. As said before, we are monitoring the progression of Invest 99L, which will either become Julian or Ida, over the next couple of days here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the tropics here. So we're going to zoom this out and put on our Tracking the Tropics product here. And as said before, we are monitoring Invest 99L. There it is right here, looking pretty decent on satellite imagery here, and that's going to be coming up here shortly. You got a good amount of shower thunderstorm development on its eastern side. The western side still feeling the effects of some drier air and some wind shear at this point here, but somewhere in this mess is where your center of low pressure is. And if I am not mistaken, just looking at satellite right now, let's go ahead and zoom this down. This is where your counterclockwise flow is right here. So we do have a center of low pressure that is trying to develop at this point. Air Force Reconnaissance aircraft is scheduled to come out here tomorrow afternoon and investigate the system even further, and that will help us to determine the track, any potential impacts here in Arkansas, etc. here. So even on satellite here, you can see a center of low pressure is trying to get going down here in the Caribbean, and as said before, we are monitoring it over the next couple of days here for potential development, sitting at about 80% chance of development over the next 5 days, 50% over the next 48 hours here. And the track right now still takes it into Yucatan Peninsula and then eventually emerging out into the very warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico here. So impacts for us here in Arkansas. Now, a lot of folks are asking about, are we going to see this? Are we going to see that? What about my area? What about my area? First and foremost, we need a center of low pressure. I cannot stress that enough. Guidance is not going to be your best friend until you get a center of low pressure with this Invest in the Caribbean at this point here. So anyone that's seen the monster Category 5 making a landfall on the Texas Panhandle, Texas coastline or the Louisiana coastline, etc., right now, way too early to make those kind of judgment calls here. So just stay with us, guys. We'll keep you guys updated. Use trusted and reliable weather sources over the next couple of days here. I cannot stress that enough, guys. There's a lot of misinformation going around with this system. Now, could it become a decent-sized tropical system? I'm talking a tropical storm, hurricane potential, yes, because of the fact that the Gulf of Mexico is very, very warm at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the Gulf of Mexico's temperatures real quickly here, and that's going to be coming up on the screen real fast. So the Gulf of Mexico here is very, very warm at this point, and it can sustain a tropical system. And there it is right there, 90 degrees, 91 along the Texas coastline, upper 80s to low 90s across much of the northern Gulf Coast, the central Gulf right now in the mid to upper 80s here. Grace down here in the Bay of Campeche kind of cooled off down here in the southwestern Gulf, but still in the 80s down there. So the Gulf of Mexico's water temperatures are relatively warm, and they're very, very capable of supporting tropical development. The issue I have right now with this thing blowing up to a Category 4, Category 5 is speed. Speed, speed, speed. If it's a slow-moving system, it will have a higher chance to become a major hurricane. If it's a fast mover, if it's moving very quickly, it's not going to have the time to sit there and gather thunderstorm activity to produce those, to get to that major hurricane status here. So we would probably be talking about a low-end hurricane making a landfall in Texas or Louisiana. So right now, there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of questions, a lot of scenarios that could be playing out as we get towards the next couple of days here. So just stay with us. We'll keep you guys updated on this. Regardless, guys, we are looking at least increased chances of showers and thunderstorms as we get towards early next week with some windy conditions here. Right now, I'll go over that here in your 7-day forecast coming up shortly here. So that being said, let's go ahead and talk about your weather highlights for today here. And as I said before, afternoon showers, thunderstorms will be possible over the next couple of days because with the ridge being over to our east, that's going to introduce some southerly to southeasterly flow into Arkansas. So that's going to help promote those afternoon, evening pop-up thunderstorms. Just hit and miss. Some areas are going to see it, some areas won't. It's just too hard to pinpoint certain areas at this point. Heavy rainfall is possible as we get towards next week here. Now, I want to stress with the heavy rainfall potential because I know a lot of people want the rain. I know we're in a drought. Your grass is brown. We've heard it all. Okay, we know that everyone needs rain. And everyone's frustrated about it. You do not want a tropical system producing 5 inches of rainfall at one point. It won't help your drought. It'll just make it worse because you'll be dealing with a flooding situation. And then beyond that, you would still be in a drought because all that water cannot saturate. It takes time. It takes you getting 5 inches of rain over a couple of days span instead of getting it all in 24 hours. That's what leads to flash flooding here. And on top of that, I know a lot of farmers in southeastern Arkansas, the Delta region, last thing they need is a tropical system right now, especially with all the rainfall they've gotten over the last couple of weeks, to the last couple of months here, and even goes all the way back to the spring. So those areas in southeast Arkansas desperately don't need the tropical system. Right now, very, very uncertain on impacts in Arkansas. We'll keep you guys updated constantly. I know a lot of folks are wondering for early next week because we're talking school. Monday, we're talking first thing back in school. We're talking work. We're talking anyone's got travel plans, etc., or something they've got planned for late this weekend or early part of next week. So there's a lot of uncertainty right now. We're going to do our best to keep you guys updated and keep you guys informed on this system here because there's going to be a lot of information thrown at you guys over the next couple of days. All eyes on the Gulf of Mexico and Invest 99L. Where does it go? Who sees what? How strong does it get? We'll keep you guys updated on that. And as just mentioned before, any impacts here in Arkansas, anything that's, as said before, anything that's worth noting, talking about, we will have that for you guys. So next couple of days, from Thursday all the way until early next week, the page is going to be loaded with information, with updates, regardless if this impacts Arkansas or not. So be sure to share this page with your family and friends. I know a lot of folks have contacted us and say, hey, we can't see your posts anymore, what's going on? If they have to physically get on our page, then that's just going to have to be. Right now, we're still trying to figure out the whole notification situation as well. So be sure to follow us on Facebook, on Twitter. We have a Roku channel as well, and we also have a Amazon Fire channel that you guys can keep updated. Keep that so you guys can stay updated over the next couple of days because a lot of information, I mean a lot of information, is going to be thrown at you guys over the next couple of days. We're talking track changes, we're talking impact changes, heavy rainfall maps, wind potential graphics, storm prediction center. Once we start getting a better idea on what's going to be happening with the system, potential severe weather risk for early next week. So there's a lot of information that's going to be thrown at you guys. So just make sure that you share this page. That way everyone can stay informed on the latest here. So now that I've done talked to you guys' head off, let's go ahead and talk about your forecast here. So for northern Arkansas, Thursday through Sunday, 20% chance of rain, high temperatures in the low to mid 90s, overnight lows in the 70s here. Pretty tranquil weather for the end of the week and the early part of the weekend. What gets interesting as we get towards early next week, tropical trouble. Right now, 60% chance of rain for Tuesday. That's when we're expecting whatever develops out of Invest 99L to move into Arkansas. Right now, I want to put a caution map. I almost drew it out on the forecast today, and I'm probably going to do that tomorrow. Right now, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is the most uncertain part of the forecast at this point. Before that, we know what's going to happen. Relatively quiet weather here in Arkansas. But Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is very, very uncertain right now. The track goes west of Arkansas. Rain chances go through the roof. We talk about isolated tornado potential. We talk about gusty winds, 35, 40 miles per hour. We talk a lot of impacts on the eastern side of the system. The system goes to the east of us. That puts us on the western side of the system. Not much will be said here in Arkansas. We won't have much. We'll have northerly to northeasterly winds, which will help bring temperatures down regardless of where this thing tracks. But we won't be dealing with the rainfall here. So that's why I'm saying right now to share our page and to make sure that you can get our notifications, because there's going to be a lot of information thrown at you guys over the next couple of days here. This graphic will also be posted separate from the forecast, so that way you guys can see the 7-day forecast as well. Central Arkansas, Thursday through Sunday, upper low to mid 90s, overnight lows in the 70s. Rain chances pick up Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening as a response of whatever happens out of Invest 99L. Monday through Wednesday of early next week, windy, potentially some increased rain chances. Depending on the track, we will have to watch out for the potential of isolated severe weather, primarily for the potential of tornadoes. You deal with that whenever you deal with a landfalling tropical storm. So the potential is there. Wherever this thing tracks will be the key on who sees what for early next week. I cannot stress that enough to you guys at this point. Southern Arkansas, more the same. Thursday through Friday, 20% chance of rain, high temperatures in the low to mid, even in some cases tomorrow, upper 90s. You guys should stay under heat advisory criteria. That changes, we'll let you guys know. Overnight lows in the 70s. Monday through Wednesday. Right now, 60 to 70% chance of rain, high temperatures lower. And you notice that, lower than Central and North, because you guys will be dealing with whatever develops out of Invest 99L. So low temperatures by that point back down into the upper 60s and low 70s at this point here. There's even some indication beyond Wednesday, once the system gets out of here, it may allow a cold front to come through and finally put an end to our summer heat here in Arkansas. So there's a lot of key features that need to be played out over the next couple of days here. So, as said before, we'll continue to keep you guys updated right here on your source for all things Arkansas weather.